The Indian Canyons area of Palm Springs sits on the Agua Caliente Indian Reservation and protects one of the most beautiful palm oases in the United States. There are miles of hiking trails that you can access by visiting the area, and I grabbed a few friends and spent a half day exploring there before the heat of the summer. This is one of the most stunning Southern California areas I've experienced in a long time, and I highly recommend you check it out. Here is all of the information on two of the popular shorter trails in the park, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I jumped in the car and made the drive out to the desert. It took about an hour and a half to get to the entrance for Indian Canyons. Note that this is on the southern portion of Palm Springs, so you have to drive all the way through the city before you get there. Also, it cost $12 per person to enter, and it didn't open until 8 a.m. when I went. After paying to enter, we headed first to Palm Canyon. Along the way, you'll drive through Split Rock, which is pretty cool to see, or not very cool if you have a big car. After arriving at the parking area for Palm Canyon, I was blown away by how beautiful the oasis was right in front of me. If you go out and back through the oasis, it's only 2 miles round trip, which is great for a whole family. Today we're in the Indian Canyons area of Palm Springs. We're gonna hike 2 trails, both to Palm Oasis. One's right next to the trail. This is pretty cool. I'm excited about this. After leaving the parking area, you'll be walking down on a big dirt road and will almost immediately be under the shade of the palm trees. These trees are called fan palms, and they often live in the lower hot areas of the desert. The trees can grow up to 80 feet tall and can live for the better part of the century. Hiking trails that way. We're only like 2 minutes into this hike and we're already in this amazing palm oasis. In this first area, there's some fun trees that look like they're growing horizontal along the ground, and there's some picnic benches if you just want to sit and relax and have something to eat. It's pretty awesome. You're just walking through all of these palm trees, and the trail is very simple, straightforward, great family-friendly hike. Technically, this trail can be as long or as short as you would like. We did it all the way to the split, so that was about a mile to get to the split and to make it a loop trail, but you could just hike 5 minutes in, have a picnic, and hike back out. The trail is shaded, which makes it great for the Palm Springs heat, and it goes along the creek most of the way. There are a few sections where you leave the shade, but you almost immediately go back into it. When you get about a half mile in, you'll get closer to the creek, and there was actually a decent amount of water here when we went in March. The second hike we do had a lot more flowing water, but it was still pretty cool to see water here in the desert. Looks like this area that we're in right now had some type of fire damage to the palm trees, but they're still doing pretty good other than their base. After the fact, I learned that adult palms are almost never destroyed by fire because of the way water is transported through their trunks. We're almost to the halfway point, and we've basically been hiking in the shade of palm trees this entire hike. It has been stunning. Definitely one of the best hikes I had never done before. At about the 1 mile mark, the trail starts to head up and it connects with the Victor Trail. When you get to the halfway point, you can either go back the way you came through Palm Canyon, which is a mile back to the parking area, or you can take the Victor Trail, which makes it a loop. It's like a 1/4 mile longer. We're gonna go that way just to see something different. If you decide to take the Victor Trail, note that it adds about a 1/4 mile onto the hike. Also, as soon as you start to head up, there's no shade the entire rest of the trail back to the parking lot. It's pretty cool to see the palm oasis that we were walking through to get up here. We actually gained a decent amount of elevation. And you can kind of see down into the canyon, which is beautiful. This trail gains about 300 feet of elevation and has you walking along the ridge line most of the way back. We're almost back to the parking area, which you can see right there. There's the palm trees we went through, and we got to continue along this ridge line. That's where we're going to be connecting back, but this trail adds about a 1/4 mile, so you kind of do have to go back down this way in order to connect with the main trail again. Without saying, but if you do that second portion of the trail, there's a decent amount of elevation and there's no shade, so it can get pretty hot in Palm Springs when there's no shade. We're back in the palm trees for just a little bit as we're heading up to the parking area. From here, it's just a short hike up to the car, and don't forget to go to the trading post to see what they have for sale. We finished our first trail through Palm Canyon. We're gonna do one more trail before heading out. It was about a 7-minute drive over to the parking area for Andreas Canyon, which was our second hike. There were a lot more people here than at Palm Canyon, so I have to imagine this is a pretty popular spot in the park. When you arrive at the parking area and trailhead, you'll see a rock that looks a lot like the Pride Rock area in Lion King, and you'll see bedrock grinding mortars which were used for crushing food. Setting out on our second trail, this is the Andreas Canyon Trail. It's 1 mile loop. I didn't know what to expect before heading out on this trail, but I have to say it's pretty magical and I see why it's so popular. Dang, this trail is awesome. There's actually a good amount of water flowing through here. Almost immediately you'll be under the shade of palm trees walking alongside a running creek. I was really surprised by how much water was flowing through here late in the spring season, and I could see why this area would be so vital to early Native American tribes. Tiny waterfall. This is a beautiful family-friendly trail. Amazing views, there's water, there's shade. Definitely loving this. At about a half mile, the trail will head up till it reaches a gated area and then it crosses over the water. Some sort of houses and stuff back there, and this is the turnaround point for the trail. So now we're going back on the right side of the water. From here you can decide if you want to hike back the way you came or do a loop. We wanted to see something new, so we went with the loop back to the trailhead. So the trail leaves the little shaded area and we're kind of walking out in the sun, so you can always go back that way if it's hot, but we wanted to see the full loop. I can't believe that I never went here before. I loved every minute of this hike, and so did the people that I went with. It's an incredible Southern California area to explore. The trail back is exposed and has no shade, so it's probably not the best for those hot summer months, but it is a cool way to see the Palm Oasis from a different angle. Made it back to the parking area. That was another amazing hike. Honestly, this area is really cool. You should come check it out. I'm surprised it took me so long to get here. We're gonna head to lunch before ending the video. Lunch brought us into downtown Palm Springs and Bill's Pizza, which is one of my favorite places in the city for a meal. They sell multiple different types of pizza by the slice, and it's a great place for a quick lunch. Going big, Bill's Pizza, to celebrate the end of our hike. Also, this is my friend Brian, who has an Instagram called hauling __ the family.
The family.
Yeah, and he's a full-time RVer with his twin brothers, so I will leave their link in the description.
Give us a follow.
That's it for this video. We'll see you on the next one.